Engineering and Physiological Aging, a Systems Framework, number 1716, July 16, 2026. Gerald C. EclaireMD Foundation. Category: Physiological Aging, Gerontology and Geriatrics. Preface for readers: eat more protein and fresh vegetables. Eat less red meat and processed food. Reduce food portions if overweight. Eating a little less will not hurt you. Overeating for years will. Exercise every day. Walk at least 7,000 to 8,000 steps daily. Drink 85 to 100 ounces to 0.5 to 3.0 liters of water each day. Sleep 6 to 7 hours every night. Manage stress. Avoid emotionally draining people and unnecessary conflicts. Put your health first. Wealth, fame, and power mean little without health and life. Preface. This paper explains the mechanisms of physiological aging using plain language and a few selected engineering concepts, such as entropy from thermodynamics and energy from solid mechanics. It also discusses several lifestyle and biomedical factors that may help slow human body's functional decline and promote healthier aging. It declares that this paper is primarily education, with some practical implications, rather than a textbook on clinical treatment. Introduction. To analyze the biological complexity of aging. It is useful to step away from traditional clinical terminology and view the organism through the lens of engineering and industrial system. Consider the human body as a highly automated, state-of-the-art manufacturing facility, and its early operating years. The factory is a marvel of efficiency, the workforce is highly productive. Logistics are seamless, energy is abundant, and a robust maintenance department resolves issues in real time. Under this framework, systemic aging is not caused by a single catastrophic event, but rather by the gradual, compounding failure of the factory's internal maintenance protocols. Section 1. The Aging Factory of Functional Analogy 1. Information degradation. The damaged blueprint. Every factory relies on a centralized database of master schematics DNA in the human body to manufacture, calibrate, and repair its machinery over years of continuous operation. Physiological aging, wear and tear, environmental hazards, and cumulative internal chemical exposure introduce microscopic scratches, damage, and errors into these schematics. In the human body, these master schematics are our DNA, the instruction manual inside every living cell. As the instructions become damaged over time, the cells are more likely to make mistakes. Because the workers keep using these imperfect instruction manuals, they gradually make more mistakes and produce parts that are no longer built correctly or function properly. Over time, the structural integrity of every new machine produced in the factory and the normal function of the body's cells and tissues begins to decline. 2. The power plants wear out inefficient generators. The factory has many small power plants that supply energy to every department. When the factory is new, these power plants run efficiently, producing plenty of energy with very little waste. As the factory grows older, the power plants gradually wear out. They produce less energy while releasing more harmful pollution. In the human body, these power plants are the mitochondria, the cell's power plants inside our cells. As they age, they generate less energy while producing more harmful chemical byproducts. Because there is less energy available, the repair crews cannot keep up with their routine maintenance. At the same time, the pollution slowly damages nearby cells, proteins, and other cellular structures. The result is a vicious cycle. Less energy leads to poorer maintenance, while increasing pollution causes even more damage throughout the factory. 3. The trash starts piling up. Every factory produces waste and broken parts. When the factory is new, the cleanup crews quickly collect the trash, recycle what they can, and keep the hallways clear. As the factory gets older, it no longer has enough power to run all of its cleanup equipment. The workers cannot keep up. In the human body, dead cells, worn-out proteins, and other cellular waste that should be removed begin to accumulate, just like broken parts, empty boxes, and trash piling up in a factory. This waste gradually fills the hallways and work areas. Before long, the clutter blocks the movement of workers, supplies, and finished products, making the entire factory less efficient. 4. Rust begins to spread. As the factory gets older, it no longer has enough power to run all of its cleanup equipment. In the human body, this means that dead cells, worn-out proteins, and other cellular waste are no longer removed efficiently. Instead, they gradually accumulate, just as broken parts and trash pile up on the factory floor. Over time, this buildup interferes with the normal operation of the factory, making every department less efficient. 5. The spare parts run out. Every good factory keeps a warehouse full of spare parts so broken machines can be replaced quickly. When the factory is young, the warehouse is well stocked. Whenever a machine fails, a new one is brought in to take its place. In the human body, these spare parts are stem cells, the body's natural replacement cells. As the years pass, stem cell numbers and ability to repair damaged tissues gradually decline. Eventually, there are not enough replacements left. More damaged cells remain in the body, and the factory slowly loses its ability to repair itself and function as efficiently as it once did. Section 2. The second law of thermodynamics and systemic entropy. This industrial analogy is not merely a conceptual tool, it is a direct macroscopic reflection of statistical mechanics. Specifically, it illustrates the second law of thermodynamics. In any closed or semi-closed system, net entropy disorder must always increase over time. To stay alive, the human body must constantly repair itself and keep its internal systems organized. It does this by taking in energy from food, water, and oxygen, and using that energy to build new cells, repair damaged tissues, and remove waste. Aging is not the sudden activation of a genetic destroy program. Instead, it occurs when the body's repair and maintenance systems can no longer keep up with the continuous wear, tear, damage, and disorder that naturally accumulate over time. As a result, gradual decline eventually becomes unavoidable. Section 3. The evolutionary trade-off. Why isn't the body perfect? A natural question is, if the human body is such an amazing system, why didn't evolution make it last forever? The answer comes down to resource allocation. Just as a business cannot spend all of its revenue repairing old equipment at the expense of developing new products, the human body must carefully budget its limited energy. Our daily energy is divided among several critical biological demands: growth and development, daily physical activities, immune defense against infections and diseases, cellular repair and maintenance, reproduction. If the body spent all its energy on perfect, indefinite maintenance, there would not be enough energy left for growth, defense, or reproduction, the very activities required to pass on genes. Consequently, evolution did not design a permanent, self-repairing body. Instead, it optimized us to function exceptionally well during our peak reproductive years. Beyond this period, maintenance systems gradually slow down, allowing the natural wear, tear, and cellular damage of aging to accumulate. In biology, this compromise is known as Thomas Kirkwood's disposable soma theory. Section 4. Aging is not unique to living things. The struggle against decay is not unique to biology. The necessity of continuous maintenance applies to all complex systems, whether living or artificial. When we look beyond the human body, we see this exact same pattern of decline in other structures. Corporate organizations. A young company is typically agile, energetic, and efficient. As it grows, layers of management, administrative guidelines, and legacy systems accumulate. Eventually, the organization must spend more resources maintaining its internal bureaucracy than innovating, making it slower and less competitive. Civilizations and empires, as nations expand, they construct vast networks of roads, bridges, water systems, and government institutions. Over time, simply maintaining this massive infrastructure demands an increasingly large share of the empire's resources. If maintenance cannot keep pace, the societal infrastructure begins to crumble. Industrial machinery, a new vehicle, airplane, or power plant operates at peak efficiency when first built. However, as mechanical parts inevitably wear out, repairs become more frequent and expensive, eventually reaching a point where keeping the machine running is no longer viable. Whether dealing with a living cell, a corporation, a physical machine, or an entire civilization, the underlying rule of the physical world is identical. Every organized system requires continuous energy to fight disorder. When the cost of maintenance and repair finally eclipses the available resources, decline stops being a possibility, it becomes inevitable. Section 5. Mechanical versus biological difference. While the factory analogy is useful for explaining structural wear and tear, it does not fully capture the remarkable adaptive ability of the human body. And like a mechanical factory, the human body exhibits hormesis, a biological phenomenon in which a mild stressor produces a beneficial adaptive response, while excessive stress becomes harmful. Examples of hormesis include regular exercise and intermittent fasting. These mild challenges stimulate the body's natural repair systems, helping remove damaged cellular components, autophagy, and strengthen the cell's power plants. Mitochondria, a mechanical factory, does not become stronger after being struck with a small hammer, but the human body often becomes stronger after experiencing carefully controlled mild stress. The word hormesis is a well-established biomedical term describing the phenomenon in which a low level of stress stimulates the body's natural repair and defense mechanisms, whereas excessive stress causes injury and damage. Therefore, the human body is not merely a machine that wears out, it also has built-in adaptive mechanisms. Epilogue: I realized long ago that my biomedical research has become part of my recovery. The processes of learning, reading, thinking, analyzing, and writing consistently place me in a calm, focused state. During these activities, my systolic blood pressure rarely exceeds 120 mmHg, making research not only intellectually productive but also physiologically beneficial. My research is not just producing papers, it has become part of the way I manage my health. Looking back over the past several years, I realize that a common theme has gradually emerged throughout my research, although the subjects have varied from topology, viscoplasticity, and data science to pathophysiology, including the four primary metabolic disorders, a few selected mortality-related diseases, cardiovascular disease (CVD), chronic kidney disease (CKD), neuropathy, diabetic retinopathy, hemorrhagic stroke, and aging. The underlying methodology has remained remarkably consistent, building bridges between different academic disciplines. During the past 6 years of my medical research, I propose that data structure serves as a bridge between exterior geometric topology and interior viscoplastic energy. Topology describes the observable geometric patterns and data relationships, while viscoplastic energy, derived from the interactions between output strain and multiple input stresses, represents the hidden dynamics governing the biophysical system. Data structure connects these two traditionally separate worlds, allowing surface observations of geometry and energy to reveal the underlying mechanisms of both physiology and pathology. This paper extends the same philosophy and logic into the field of biomedical science. Here, mathematics, physics, and engineering provide the analytical framework, while simple engineering analogies and plain English language help explain the complex mechanisms underlying physiological aging. Brief biomedical explanations are then integrated into each engineering analogy, allowing readers to connect familiar everyday engineering concepts with the corresponding biomedical mechanisms of physiological aging in healthy individuals and pathophysiological aging in individuals with disease. My objective has never been to replace medicine with engineering, nor to reduce biology and medicine to mathematics and physics. Instead, the goal has always been to build a bridge that allows knowledge to flow naturally between these two broad disciplines. Engineering offers clarity, mathematics provides structure, and medicine supplies the biological reality. Together, they create a unified framework for understanding the complex processes that govern human health, aging, and disease. Looking back, I now see that this bridge-building philosophy and logic have become one of the defining characteristics of my medical research work. Regardless of the scientific discipline involved, my objective has remained the same: to connect ideas that traditionally exist in separate fields, making complex concepts easier to understand and, ultimately, more useful for improving human health, quality of life, and especially my own health and longevity. I have deliberately chosen to begin with N=1, my own body and my own diseases, for two fundamental reasons. First, my immediate objective was to save my own life. If I could not preserve my own health and longevity, I would never have the time or opportunity to study N=2, let alone N=many. Second, I believe that without a thorough understanding of a single biomedical system, I am not qualified to extend my investigation to multiple individuals. Only after fully understanding N=1, where the single individual is either myself or another person, do I believe it is scientifically meaningful to progress to N=2, and eventually to larger populations N=m. This has been the clear, simple, and stubborn objective of my medical research journey. While this approach has faced opposition from those who favor traditional population-based statistical methods, relying primarily on correlations, p-values, and analyses of hundreds or thousands of individuals with different pathophysiological conditions, it does not reject population-based research. Rather, it establishes a logical foundation upon which broader investigations can be built. This content is provided for educational reference only and does not constitute medical advice. No doctor-patient relationship is created. You may share this summary freely, though it must not be altered, edited, or republished as your own. All intellectual property rights and copyrights for this article and its related materials belong to the author, Gerald C.